there was some heavy steam for the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft on a player who was around 100-1 not that long ago, and that is Anthony Richardson, the quarterback from Florida. And this tweet popped from Ben Fawkes at VSiN. He opened at that number, triple digits, at BetMGM. He's down to 7-1. Well, Pauly, as I live and breathe right now, he is 5-1 at DraftKings. It goes Bryce Young minus 165, CJ Stroud plus 450, Richardson 5-1. He's now ahead of Will Levis, who is plus 650. And then it gets into Jalen Carter and Will Anderson territory.
What happened here? Who's betting this? And who continues to bet it? When it was down to like 10-1, 8-1, it won't stop. Now, yesterday, one GM told Peter King he has the highest upside. We have a guest coming on later who says, "Oh, trust the tape." Well, this is bizarre.
Yeah. Again, remove what you think about the players, right? You have to go on information here, and I don't think Richardson is ready to play at all in the NFL, but that doesn't matter. So here's what can happen in a situation like this. There was one person who evidently doesn't have the best track record when it comes to mock drafts.
Mm-hmm.
He mocked Richardson number 1 last week, number 1 overall. And then you have to remember, like early on, this is a very delicate market. So a bet or two could significantly move numbers. And so when he was 100-1, it might take 1 or 2 people or 1 or 2 groups to make a bet on Richardson and then for that number to fly all the way down. For example, like Dustin, who used to produce this show, he has Richardson at 55-1, and he got 95-1. I think it was on February 16th. What is that? 11 days ago?
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
So he was 95-1. He has him there. Now, his whole idea was exactly what you said, upside. And once we get to Combine Week, which is right now, and people see this kid who's tall, he's strong, he's fast, he has the like if Bryce Young had his build, Bryce Young would be minus 1,000, minus 2,000 to go number 1 overall, but he doesn't, and that's going to be the rub, and I can't wait to see what Bryce Young weighs in at with the tail of the tape this week. But this kid is going to, the Cam Newton comparisons won't stop.
Oh, so we throw out the tape, though? I mean,
you can't.
I don't think
what
happened
can.
at Florida? It's like the same thing with Levis. Well, the O-line sucked. Well, he didn't have this. Well, he didn't have that. I mean, I throw him out because he puts mayonnaise in his coffee. I dismiss him. So that's a crazy.
But you love mayonnaise.
Yeah, not in coffee. Yeah, but you can't.
But
put
you
it
don't drink coffee. Come on.
Can't put mayo. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. The kid puts mayo in coffee. But he had a terrible season. Major disappointment. What happened on the field, an actual game.
Remember the Utah game? The kid looked phenomenal.
Yes, he did. Right.
And then after that, I'm like, what happened to him?
Right, sure. Absolutely. I know. So, but you're right. Workout warriors, underwear Olympics, anything you want to say. I give these guys full marks, too, if they're going to come out and let it rip at the combine. Some will, some won't.
Yep.
And then you go off on your pro day, which we always look at Zach Wilson. Oh, what a throw. Who cares?
Yep.
What a pro day. So that was but this is a wild time of year. But none of this makes sense. Who's the best player in the draft? It's Carter, probably. But it comes down to need and who's picking where, and even some whispers about what the Bears could do. And when they shop Fields. That this is Lions season 2.
It is.
So this is fascinating. But it's one thing to go from like 100-1 to 30 or 20. But now it's as low as 5-1 now at draft.
And again, you watch what happens this week at the Combine. If he goes out there and performs at all, it's going to be lights out again. And the same thing is going to happen with Levis. I know Levis has a pro day coming up. When Levis has his pro day, it's going to be Zach Wilson 2.0. It's going to be, oh my God, he can throw it 70 yards in the air, cross from his body. He can make every possible throw. He is Josh Allen. That's what people will say. And people will make that. You can't pass on a kid like Will Levis. And then people are suggesting that Bryce Young might check in at like 6 feet tall. He's like 5'9". He's 5'9", and he's going to have to go. This is going to have to be a UFC fighter. Because he's going to have to load up on as many liquids as possible right before he weighs in. He's got to push the scales to as close to 200 as possible. Because there's a chance that people are speculating he's 175 walking around in street clothes.
Oh, my God.
You're not taking a quarterback that's smaller than Kyler Murray.
Yeah, right.
Number 1 overall in the draft.
Yeah.
Although his arm is unbelievable. Can I get you on board with this? Do you believe there's at least a small chance the Bears keep the number 1 pick?
I can't see that. That doesn't make any sense.
But what if the offer's not there? And what if teams are convinced that the player that they want will be there at that spot where they're already... Like, for example, and I'm just going to throw out a hypothetical here. What if the quarterback the Colts really want is Levis? Well, when they break down the board, they can probably talk themselves into the Bears at number 1. They're not going to take Levis. Number 2, Houston, they probably like Bryce Young. Number 3 is Arizona. They're not going to go quarterback. They could probably talk themselves into plenty of scenarios where Levis is there at number 4.
Well, you got Carolina rumors, though, too. And, I mean, someone would be bound to move up and take somebody.
Yeah, but when you get... Here's my opinion, anyway. When you're dropping below 4, and then you get to Carolina at that, what are they, 9? Raiders are 7. That's an awfully big package they're going to have to offer the Bears to move all the way up to number 1. And maybe the offer's not there. If they keep the pick, depending on free agency and some defensive tackles that may or may not be on the move to Chicago, if they don't get a defensive tackle, I think Carter's going to be the play if they would keep the pick.
Okay, yeah. I'd be shocked if they keep the pick. I would be, yes. And the other thing is with the moves with the quarterback carousel now. Now that Mr. Rogers has emerged from the darkness, right? But the Bilbo Baggins here. I mean, this is... But oh boy, was that overblown. I mean, the guy had electricity. What the hell's he talking about? Like some darkness. Oh, they just shovel some food in here and put it in there for me. I mean, the guy lives better than most people where he was in Oregon in the darkness. But for the Jets to tell Carr you'll be a Hall of Famer if you win here, give me a break. The guy doesn't have a playoff win.
Right.
I mean, are they really going to give him $35 million? And then Danny Dimes wants $45 million? So
is there a chance Danny Dimes gets $45 million?
Going to be. Sure, there's a chance.
Oh,
but
man.
this is wild about what's going to happen. The guy has who do you even really? Okay, you made the playoffs, but you played nobody. You had a soft schedule. You're going to give him $45 million, and then the Jets are going to sign Carr and give him all this money.
You know,
oh my!
Even
God.
if you're Derek Carr and like his camp, don't you have to recognize? Okay, there's blowing smoke up somebody's, you know what, and then there's this. You have to recognize. Hey, it sounds great and all, but come on. That's a little too over the top.
It's not going to go well. I can tell you right now. I mean, the first time, they're going to lose their minds the first time he throws the ball out of bounds on fourth down.
I don't think he's a good fit in New York.
No, I agree.
I think he's a better fit in some spot like New Orleans.
Right. But the other thing to watch is it appears Baltimore and Jackson aren't even close on this. But this is what happens when you have a guy who doesn't have an agent, and the whole Deshaun Watson contract screws everything up. And it's just, the leaks coming out and the reports about what's been offered and but the appear not even close. Mm-hmm. And then what happens March 7th? And what's the tag like? What's it going to be? And then can someone swoop in and say, well, I'll take him. Here's 2 number 1s. And do they play ball? And does someone give him an enormous contract considering his injury history as well? This is fascinating how they could play out in Baltimore.
Oh, absolutely. The next, 3 weeks, month or so with this, the whole, every scenario you just ran down. So if the Jets if they told Carr you can be a Hall of Famer, what's their pitch to Rodgers?
Yeah, right.
They could actually tell him you'll go down as one of the biggest legends in New York City's history if you come here and win a Super Bowl. And that would be true. If Rodgers were to go there and win a Super Bowl, shut it down there.
Yeah. What is it, 12 years? You haven't made the playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And for that team to win again, I mean, from that area of the country, we get feedback all the time when we talk Jets. Guys, I've lived it my whole life. Knock it off. I mean, imagine what that would do.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It turns everything around.
Yeah, but they know they're close. I mean, again, they were right there with Mike White. Wilson was just horrendous when he was in there.
Yeah.
They were 7-4. They lost at Minnesota. Won on the final play.
I can't wait for this week. The Combine week is so cool. I don't watch the Combine a lot, but the overreactions that we get. And then this is when you really, because now books will be offering more stuff on the draft. DraftKings right now, they have first overall pick, first quarterback, first wide receiver, first defensive player selected, and which team will draft Bijan Robinson on the board, which his team is, the talking points about Bijan, people are calling him the best running back to come out in, forget Saquon, forget Zeke, he's better than all of them in recent years. So the Eagles are the shortest shot on the board, by the way, at plus 275 to take him. He's awesome.
Well, it only takes one team to fall in love with somebody, too.
That's right.
That's all it takes.
That's right.
That's the other angle as well.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.